And welcome back to the hot stage. We are talking Hyundai's future in the World Rally Championship. It seems to be confirmed, at least for 2026. But what does that mean for 2027, 28, 29, the world? So Hyundai confirming, we're in. Bring it on. This was on their official Twitter channel for 2026. Dirtfish have done a tiny article, and I mean tiny. What Hyundai's decision means is basically advertises their club Dirtfish, but they too have confirmed that they've delivered the confirmation everyone had hoped for, and it wasn't really a given. There were all these rumours as to whether Hyundai are going to continue with their World Endurance Championship entry, and those rumours that they may well go to Formula 1. Now we know Hyundai are in the British Touring Car Championship and in other touring car races, championships as well, but I can't help but feel they're synonymous with the World Rally Championship. Tanak, Terry Neuville, and it would be such a shame to see them leave. And at the moment, you could make an argument that the WRC needs Hyundai more than Hyundai needs the WRC, because if they go, it's just a battle of the Toyotas, with M Sport being very much the jolly joggers at the back. So yeah, what led to the decision? What does it mean? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's clues in some of the articles earlier this month. Just over nearly 2 months ago now, in June. The Korean band has given its clearest indication yet that it will see out the rally, and this is what's significant. Okay, the Korean brand has given its clearest indication yet that it will see out the Rally 1 rule cycle, but an entry for 2027 remains uncertain, and there is the massive question mark as to whether Hyundai are going to continue with Rally. So, there have been question marks, like this article says, about their short and long-term future. Uncertainties over Hyundai's future have obviously led to suggestions that their Rally 1 category could be scrapped a season before it's the end of its 5-year cycle. That's now not the case, but Hyundai are still not content with what direction the WRC is taking for their 2027 regulations. The brand's president, Cyril Abittel, said, and this was at the Portugal Rally last month, that he was optimistic that their rally program would continue. And he said it's a natural cycle going into next year, so hopefully that's something we'll be able to confirm. Should Hyundai confirm its participation for 26, it would likely ensure that Rally 1 regulations will complete its intended 5-year cycle before the move to the WRC 2027 rule set. Now, Hyundai are going to be involved in the 2027, hopefully, but having said that, that is still very much up for discussion. And Abittel's maintaining the stance that the 27 regulations don't currently fit with the manufacturer's objectives. He confirmed that there had not been any further developments regarding this regulation, that it will be in place for a 10-year cycle this time, and it will be based around the cards of a cost cap of, in terms of euros, 345,000 euros, and that's in a bid to encourage more teams and manufacturers to compete. So you can have manufacturers, and with the cost cap you can also have privateer teams, and with that cost cap, like we've seen in Formula 1, those privateer teams can be quite successful. Now, when you look at Formula 1, I wouldn't say McLaren are a privateer team, but they're not a Mercedes Works engine team. That's the Mercedes team itself, yet they are currently leading the World Championship, both World Championships. So it says the vehicles featuring space frame chassis constructed by manufacturers and tuners, they're going to be largely base-based. And I think this is a good thing for cost cap on the Rally 2 machinery. They need to do something. Is there other ways they can make it cheaper? Yes. I think this is a positive in what we have now. But the bodywork from almost any scale production car can be fitted to the safety cell, meaning that hatchbacks could conceivably compete against saloons and SUVs. We'll see about that, shall we? But Hyundai is not starting any work yet, and that's slightly concerning. We're just kind of, a year and a half out on developing a 2027 car. Now, Bittel's concerned that the new regulations, as we mentioned, won't be sufficient to keep Hyundai happy and showcase their technology. The WRC 27 cars are going to be initially powered by, yes, internal combustion engines, but there's framework to accommodate other powertrains from 2028 onwards, and that's probably, if I'm honest, what Hyundai really want. But it's been quiet, he says, and I think the FIA have been clear with what it wants, and I respect that. You can't complain about a lack of leadership when there is leadership, and they make their position clear. They want non-manufacturers to compete, and I think that's brilliant. He said, unfortunately, I represent a manufacturer, so it's difficult for us to build a connection between the future regulation and us as a manufacturer who wants to promote cars and technology and connectivity, and alternative powertrains. We don't see any of that. But when you look at the sport in terms of, I mean, Formula E is fairly popular. It's nowhere near Formula One, nowhere near IndyCar. In terms of, nowhere near MotoGP, the popularity, nowhere near Rally. It's its own. I'm not saying it's niche. I think it's a bit more popular than a niche series. But any electric series at the moment, no. Is electric the right way to go? We've had discussions on this channel time and time again. Ultimately, in terms of motorsports, no. I think there will be other ways to go. Like, for example, hydrogen engines. I mean, believe it or not, it might sound that electric is sustainable and everything like that, but there's lots of issues with it. The battery components, making the battery components, using all that energy, charging it is still potentially an issue. And then what do we do when we get rid of those batteries? And how long are those batteries? Are those batteries going to last for a year in the cars? I doubt that very much. So if, for example, WRC went full electric. But he said at some point it may be that the FIA have taken the direction they are not really building the WRC for the necessity of car makers in mind, and I respect that. Obviously, Cyril is saying yes, and I can't help but feel the backstory behind Hyundai is, we want to go fully electric. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to oppose one against the other. I believe there are ways to cater for both right now, but probably these current regulations are more biased towards car makers, as only car makers can afford the cost, and I completely understand that. I just hope, and it's good that they are keeping the engine rules open and not forcing it down a combustion engine, down obviously an electric, powertrain or whatever you want to call it. And we've seen, for example, the BTCC doing that. Now they've reined it back, and they're just using, obviously, special fuels rather, and so is Rally, although they don't really advertise it enough. So I'm more than happy. This is the announcement from rallyjournal.com. That obviously Hyundai confirming on social media that they're going to be in 2026. Korean manufacturer planned to join the World Endurance Championship. Many had questioned it, but the speculation has now ended. And yeah, we're pleased to confirm from 2026 and beyond. So Hyundai, though, to be fair, had a difficult start to the season. So you could make an argument. Maybe you couldn't blame them for thinking, no, this Rally is not actually for us. We're going to concentrate on the WEC. We're currently being whipped by Toyota. And at the time I'm recording this, the 2nd of August, just before 8 o'clock, they are still, sadly, in Finland, currently being whipped by Toyota. That's because of their punctures, obviously, with Neuville and Formaux, sadly. But still, they're still, even though it's good for 2026, there remains many question marks for 2027. So if you made it to the end, thank you very much. You just watching this video is, quite frankly, more than enough for us. But if you'd like to help out a bit more and you're not, please consider subscribing. That would be great. Consider liking the video as well. That really helps. And thank you very much. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon.